Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Juan on One Coaching. And today is episode 34. And I'm talking about the law of the rubber band, law number 10 of the book, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And it says, the law of the rubber band says, growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. And it's a great analogy because if you ask yourself when are rubber bands most useful is when they're actually stretched. And it gets to a point where it stretches, and it breaks. But we're not going to touch on that one uh, today. But that's the idea. And it all comes down to the comfort zone and us trying to do something new um, regularly. It doesn't have to be chaotic change all the time. It doesn't have to be a constant variance to what you're doing every single day, but it does mean that you have to regularly try to do something new, um, or try to do things that whole different way regularly or more frequently. And one of the examples of this is when I went to Paraguay. That was the first thing. I decided to go to Paraguay in January 2016, and I would say, is a mission trip. It's not necessarily that, but we were going there to train people on how to do roundtables using values. And the purpose of the trip was to train, I think it was 15,000 trainers, so they could go facilitate roundtables for themselves and start multiplying the process and replicating it. And it's all about teaching them how to do the roundtables, how to get participation from the members of the group, and replicate the process and just work through it. That was the first for me. That was the first time I simply chose to travel to a place where the motto was really, you're going someplace at some time to meet someone and do something. There wasn't much of an agenda. There wasn't much of a plan. All we knew is where we had to land, the airport we had to fly into, the days we were going to be there, and then the hotel. Some people didn't actually have hotels because there were issues. And then we found out which place we were going is when the whoever was driving us took us there. There was no advance notice of where we were going. And I remember the first night we are preparing ourselves, we're getting training ourselves, and our director or the VP or the president of the company, the John Maxwell team, gets on stage and says, "Hey, something came up. We need 13 Spanish-speaking people to volunteer to travel overnight to unknown destinations." And interesting, me being a perfectionist, I somehow stood up immediately and walked to the front. And I volunteered to travel overnight and go completely off script and do the training someplace. What's even more fun is that when we got to the place, it was me and another coach from Mexico. We get there and it's a German community. So we're in a situation where they're requesting Spanish, but we're in a German community. Fortunately, they did handle Spanish somewhat, so I was able to do it in Spanish. Otherwise, we could have done it in English. I think they could handle that too. But it was an interesting experience to volunteer to something that's absolutely out of my comfort zone, not having a single plan, just knowing that I'm there, and I did just fine. But that experience on its own forced me to become more comfortable with my own talents, my own skill, and my intuition, to be able to deliver something that wasn't necessarily in the plan, that to be able to talk to people that may not necessarily speak my language, and to simply deal with the fear of not knowing what's going to happen, of not knowing what the outcome is going to be, not knowing who you're going to talk to, not knowing necessarily at what time what's going to happen. All that experience was outside of my comfort zone, but now that I've done it twice, I think, yeah, I did the same thing in Costa Rica. The second time in Costa Rica, I was like, wow, this is nothing. I just do whatever. I'll travel wherever you need me to go. I'll do whatever I have to do. And that's the whole point. The whole point of going outside of your comfort zone. And in this situation, and I'm not necessarily talking about going skydiving, for example. Maybe you're a person that likes to be on land, and then you simply decide you're just going to go skydiving. Sure, that's an entertainment thing that's outside of your comfort zone, but I'm talking about doing things and approaching problems in a new way. When is the last time you did something new for the first time? When is the last time you did something new for the first time is one of the questions that one of my prior mentors, Scott Fay, used to tell us, because it forces us to do something new. And in the process of doing something totally new to us, we start expanding on our awareness. We start expanding our perspective, and that allows us to approach problems in a whole different perspective, or in a whole different way. And that is the point. It allows us to express ourselves much better with a much wider range of skills. That's the lesson for today. That's the idea. Start thinking about something you want to do completely different this time around, and let me know how it goes. See ya. Bye.